Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this tale The Couch and the Basement.
Today we are discussing Are You Afraid of the Dark? On this episode of Back in the Day. I'm Dan.
And I'm Keith.
And today we're talking about Are You Afraid of the Dark? And we just watched 3 episodes. And we're going to talk about those episodes, but we're going to more use them as you don't have to have seen those episodes for us to watch this.
It's something to talk about for the general feel of the show.
Yeah, because I had never seen it. Crazy. Somehow I missed this one. I have literally no idea how. Yeah. Because it seems like it's totally up my alley. I watched Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
I wonder if I feel like maybe I started watching Nickelodeon a little bit later than a lot of people.
I don't know, because it was definitely an earlier show, but
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't on super a lot, but it was on reruns, and I was very aware of it growing up.
I remember hearing about it. I think that I thought it was cheapo Goosebumps. I thought it was knockoff Goosebumps.
Oh, I think it's better than Goosebumps.
I mean, I never. This is the thing is, I never watched the Goosebumps show either. I read the books.
Right.
I don't know what. I guess it wasn't until I was a little bit older that I cared about Halloween-y and horror-y stuff. But yeah, it seems cool. You want to talk about your experience?
So the thing that I've always loved is just sort of the atmosphere of it, right? I just love the setup of the kids around the campfire. They start this cold open of telling the story, and then it gets into it, and you have these different stories every time.
Yeah.
And I just love for the most part, it's a great balance between the cheesy, campy, and the really well done, clever stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll get into some examples, but
yeah.
I just think that I just love that kind of mood. I mean, the intro.
The intro is great. It's like getting a decom in 20-minute bursts it's what we like about a good decom, where it's this is silly, you can make fun of it, the acting isn't great, but there's a kernel of something really enjoyable here.
There's a lot of charm.
Yeah. There's a lot of, it's the aesthetic that we really like of the 90s, early 2000s, of that sort of filmmaking, of that set design, of the practical effects,
and everything is it's very down to earth. The characters and the actors, and it's just sort of a world that it's so easy to connect to, because it's so easy to kind of see these people as real people, as real kids.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it's a weird balancing act where it's the acting is so bad that you feel you're just watching people hanging out a little bit.
Yeah.
So certain, and that depends on the
it's not all that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are worse. There are highlights. There are low.
I would say I'm mostly talking about at the actual campfire.
Okay.
I don't feel they're that great. The other thing is, I feel from what I saw, obviously I don't know where it goes, but I feel the campfire is a bit of a missed opportunity. So we have this, we have this setup of this society or whatever, and that they always get together and they tell us scary stories. And I think that's cool. I just think they should have, from what I saw of these 3 episodes, they didn't really build up the individual characters as anything of real interest, and not even into the degree that they do within the stories themselves, right? And I feel you're getting a little bits of them every episode. You could really be building up little side arcs. You could be building, building something a little bit interesting that you just get in little bursts.
Because they do have certain characteristics, and I'm sure that if we started season 1 and went through, there were 7 seasons, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
And we did that. I'm sure we would get a little bit more of that, but it's not meant to be dramatic, right? Yeah, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Well, I just think that you could build up, make me care about specific people for specific reasons, as opposed to just, they feel there's almost too many of them too, I feel like.
Yeah. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think there was some cast changes throughout the years, and sometimes it's hard to tell, but I think that the main constant was the guy with the glasses. Yeah. He was sort of the lead.
Yeah, well, guy the serious. This is serious business.
He's the.
He's the producer.
He's the producer.
The midnight producer, they call him. But yeah, I think so. The episodes that we watched were the Tale of the Mystical Mirror,
which we found randomly.
Yeah, I just picked that randomly off of YouTube. Yeah. The Ghastly Grinner,
which supposedly is supposed to be one of the scariest ones. More on that later.
Where did you find that from? VH1 or something?
It was a list.
Yeah.
Some internet list. It might have been BuzzFeed or something. It was just something random I found.
And then we also watched the pilot, which is the one with, what was his name? Bimbo? Bebo.
Zebo?
Zebo, there you go. Which I thought was cool. They actually mentioned Zebo in the Mystical Mirror world. Right. So that was cool.
Because makeup. They were saying so I would look like Zebo, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I like that. I like that one. That was like the tale of the laugh in the dark or something.
Yeah, laughing in the dark.
Yeah. And I actually liked how that one played a little bit more with cutting back and forth between the campfire, which it seems like they kind of moved away from, maybe.
Yeah, and I don't remember if we watched more of season 1, maybe they did it more in season 1, and maybe it was just beyond the pilot a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it became more of the beginning and the end is a sandwich. The meat of it is just the whole other thing.
Yeah. So, do you want to go through the 3 of them? Do you want to talk about which one is your favorite? How do you want to do this?
Well, let's start with which one is our favorite. And
okay.
So,
you want me to go?
I know what your answer is, but
so I have 2 hits. My favorite is the Ghastly Grinner, but I think the pilot was actually the one that I think was the most solid episode. The Ghastly Grinner just made me laugh out loud, like, significantly. It was just so goofy.
So bad. Like, it was supposed to be the scariest one. It was not, like, I guess if you're really little, then maybe some very brief moments where you're afraid, but, like, overall, there was not a lot of atmosphere.
If you're afraid
it was the worst acting of all of them.
It was pretty bad, yeah. If you're afraid of clowns, I can see it, and I like that. That look isn't that bad. Like, that's solid enough.
No, but we don't get, like, he doesn't even come in until the end, and, like, not even, like, in a good way.
No. It's, you know what it is this is probably the least, like, suspenseful episode.
Yeah.
It's, like, a straight-up, like, monster battle. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Ghastly Grinner. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. So, this is an episode about an artist, a comic book artist. Okay. It's a comic book artist who's failing. He can't get anyone to pay attention to him. His parents think he's going to be a failure. What are you doing over there? Grinning! Daniel! Grinning! So there's a scary grinning clown. Also him. And basically he's hidden in a comic book, but it's like a magic comic book that tells tales from another dimension. And then he accidentally leaves his comic book in the microwave, and it creates the villain. This is the fucking weirdest episode.
He didn't accidentally leave his microwave
in his comic book.
He didn't accidentally leave his comic book in the microwave. He intentionally put it in there in order to dry it off.
Yes, because the mean teacher put it in the aquarium.
Yeah. Everyday occurrence.
What teacher doesn't put comic books in the aquarium?
If you don't, you're a failure as a teacher.
So basically, there's a scary grinning guy that basically is the Joker and makes everybody laugh and die in weird laughter.
Well, actually, here's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
He's basically the Joker, but he's pretty much, he's a Harlequin, so it's kind of an interesting combination of things.
Well, he's also just basically Zebo again. Like, so they end up on this weird, crazy, wild adventure of trying to defeat him through various methods and using microwaves again, and it's a whole hullabaloo.
And so the moral of this story is fresh, not frozen food.
And it was the most, like, action-packed. Like, the scene on the bus is like, that was so goofy. That was so funny. Oh my god. But I gotta love, the thing is, I actually really enjoyed, like, the first, like, until the actual Grinner thing happened. I, like, legitimately thought it was pretty solid.
Did you really?
Like, it was silly.
No,
it was
so
silly.
Bad.
I thought,
I really like this kind of stuff. Like, it's pretty cringy.
I thought it was okay. I actually really liked the opening with him getting all the letters and, like, the lightning and like the shots and stuff. I thought that was a cool scene. And I thought the thing with the comic book lady calling him Cake, I just thought was so funny.
She was so bad.
So weird. Oh my god, that was so weird. I loved how you called, like, everything that happened in every episode.
Because it was just like, well, except for the dog thing.
Yeah.
It was like,
in Mystical Mirror. Everybody should watch these. Most of them are on YouTube.
Well, yeah, I was like, yeah, they're about to find her watch. It's her father. Because I was thinking, like, what's the most like obvious, but at the same time, like far out, like, what's like the soap opera thing that could happen, and that's what happens.
My
like,
favorite,
mostly in a good way.
Yeah, my favorite thing actually was in the Grinner when they kept focusing on the importance of microwaves, and I was like, oh, that's how they're gonna defeat him, and you were like, no, that's how they're gonna create him, and we were both right. Yeah, pretty great.